welcome to episode 669. Nice. Of Good Luck High Five. This is a podcast for you if you play Magic the Gathering. I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Tyler.
And we just got hot and fresh off the Avatar Prerelease at our local game store.
Yep, we just went Little Caesars style on that pre-release. Yep.
I was like, I feel like I'm pulling something,
yeah,
some kind of reference.
You were pulling
and
it from
I truly was.
Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. Wow,
used
what
to
a
be
place
$5.
to pull from.
I feel like they're probably more than $5 now. But
I would imagine
yeah,
so.
if they're not,
in
then
this
they're
economy,
if they're not, they're made of even more poisonous ingredients than before. You know.
More sawdust.
Yeah, please, Little Caesars, sponsor us.
And before we kick off the show today, we're going to open with our favorite moment so far from Avatar, because Tyler and I have been watching Avatar The Last Airbender. First season. Tyler, what's been your favorite moment so far?
I have to say that I think my favorite moment is still when Appa first flies. Like I had like an emotional reaction to that. I think I've mentioned it on the show before, but I really enjoyed that. There was something, I have to say, I really do love Appa. I know a lot of people love Appa, but I am surprised at how much I love Appa.
Because this is not a normal thing for you to be this cute thing I'm getting obsessed with.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I find things cute. Specifically, I think what has happened for me with Appa is I feel like he's a little bit like, I do love buffalo. I have always loved buffalo. I also love sloths, and I also love my dog Ricky, which I've mentioned on the show before. And I think Appa is sort of a little bit of a combo of those things. And also he's so powerful in this like really satisfying way that
in a gentle way,
yes. But until he gets a little upset, and then he goes and again, no, it's not over the top, and it's not like Appa's never really like there's a lack of aggression of a sort just because he's so big and powerful. But there's a moment later on in the season, which I don't think you've gotten to yet, where he and this other like large creature fight. And it's actually like really an interesting battle that happens. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like, I won't say any more than that. But
excellent. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you, Tyler. I think Appa is my favorite moment as well. Specifically what I mentioned on the show, the fact that he can, when he fly, he just kind of floats.
Yes.
He just kind of floats. To me, that is so funny. And I just love that creative decision from the team. Like, how does a bison fly? I don't know. He just go floats, up and he just go. What more do you want?
He's got an arrow on his head. Come on. We're doing enough.
Well, we're going to talk all about the Avatar pre-release on the episode today. We went to our local game store, had a great time. We're going to talk about the sealed decks we built, what cards we thought were powerful, what maybe didn't play up to our expectations or live up to our expectations either, play or live. And just overall how we're feeling, our first thoughts about the set as it's in our hands for the very, very first time. So that's what our show is going to be about. And I've got to give my Appa, I've got my Appa pillow pal on my lap.
Yep.
He's clapping his little Appa paws.
Yep. Oh, yeah. He's happy about this show.
Yay!
Oh, great.
The show!
I'm happy to hear
that. Megan's not with us on the episode this week because, for a very exciting reason, she is up at Loading Ready Run to join them for Desert Bus this year.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
It's so exciting. So if you're a viewer of Desert Bus for Hope, make sure you go and support Megan. I believe she's on the daytime crew.
I think that's true. There's a there's like a couple daytime shifts, and then there's the
she's not on the graveyard shifts, not on one of those. So that's when you can find her during the daytime. So go over to Loading Ready Run's Twitch channel and just support them for their fundraiser. It's for a great cause, and say hi to Megan in chat. I'm so sad that I can't be with them. I would have loved to have gone up and joined in the fun for if you all watched the mini Desert Bus for Hope that we did. When was it? Earlier this year. I got a meme going about these things called Zorbs, which are these big orbs that you can get in and like roll down hills and like fight. I don't know what the point is.
Yeah.
And anyway, the point is I got stuck in a Zorb hole and it became a thing. And Megan told me there might be Zorbs.
Oh no.
So
wow, that you really will be missing out.
You have to tune in for that.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss a Zorb.
Yes, I don't. You're
right.
So
there you go, everyone. Tune into Desert Bus for Hope this week. Megan will be there, which is very, very exciting. Before we kick off the show, we're going to say thank you to our patrons who keep this show happening, keep our Appa slowly floating through the air.
Yeah. I mean, Appa does move cool. It does seem slow, but I think it's kind of like that airplane style slow. I think it's just because you don't have a lot of frames of reference. Like,
That's a good point.
When he gets going, I've definitely seen Appa, go pretty quick. Yeah. Yeah.
Patreon.com/GLHF Magic. If you want to motor on over into our life, you can become a patron. You get early access to episodes. You get access to our Discord server. There's a ton of great perks, and we're going to give you a new one right now.
Whoa.
If you join at a yearly membership level, you will get a pre-release pack. The first 10 people to join from when I say these words to when 10 people do it.
Or let us say when these recorded words are broadcast.
Yeah,
how about that?
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
From the moment these recorded words are broadcast to the time we get 10 people, the first 10 people to sign up for a year membership will get a pre-release pack of Avatar.
Yeah, which is a great value, and supports the show, which we would really appreciate you doing.
Yes, we'd love to send out some pre-release packs, and hopefully you get some awesome pulls. I love when people get them and they post in our Discord.
Yes,
look what I opened.
same.
Value.
Yes,
so the first 10 people at a year, please consider joining us. You get a pre-release pack. Like Tyler said, it's a great value, quite honestly, and you get to support creators that hopefully you love. So think about that. We'd love to have you join patreon.com/GLHF Magic. We have a new thank you for all of our patrons, current patrons, and anybody who becomes a patron to get in on this Avatar pre-release pack action. Tyler, Megan, and I recorded. I was almost gonna say a laugh track. I don't know what you call a commentary.
Yeah, it's
track.
Like a director's commentary. We're not the directors, but it's in that style.
Yes,
and
if you listen to the Satanic Panic episode, you heard us talk about Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah.
Starring a young Tom Hanks in his first leading role.
Yep, very interesting and bizarre.
We looked up this movie. Tyler found the poster of it, and we're like, you know what? We should actually watch this movie.
Yeah. We kind of all three were like, I think we need to watch this movie.
Need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And so we decided to, and we recorded our live reactions while we were watching it. So you can all watch it with us as a watch along. All you have to do is watch it, stream it for free on Tubi or some various other online streaming platforms. And we count you in on the track so you can start and hit play the moment that you turn on the movie as well. So it's like you're watching a movie with us. And let me tell you, it's one you do not want to miss.
Yeah, there's some, I wish, there's things I want to say that I think will just spoil the surprise for people, so I won't say them, but let's just say there's some architecture that's heavily featured that really will, it'll make you feel something, I think, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the sweater game is incredible.
The hat game is inexplicable.
Inexplicable. Tom Hanks is still learning how to act.
Yep.
As is everybody on the cast.
Yeah, though Tom Hanks did end up learning how to act, and we can't say that for sure.
We don't know. Yeah. We just don't know.
Yeah.
It's a really remarkable film that some call the reefer madness of the D&D era.
Yeah,
so
I think there's definitely some accuracy to that.
Yeah. We hope you. It's like a little thank you for all of our patrons, and we hope you enjoy it. It was so fun to record, and hopefully you have fun watching it with us. So if you're a patron, you already have access to that. It's over on patreon.com/GLHF right now, and if you become a patron, you will unlock access to that too. And if you just want to buy it, just straight up buy it, it's $10. But why not become a patron? That's what I say.
Yeah.
Also this Friday, I want to let you all know that we have a new episode of Commander Arcade, which is going to be coming out. This one features, Deadpool is the reason for the season of this episode. Tyler, you were piloting Deadpool.
Yes, I was.
And it is, I think, the funniest episode of Commander Arcade that exists.
I agree with you. For my money, it is the funniest. It is the most unhinged, I think, in a number of ways. So if you're interested in that, I can't promise you clean, precise, beautiful gameplay.
Elegant decks.
Yeah, any of that. But I can promise you that.
I need to go play this deck because, quite honestly, you're not going to see that deck do its thing.
Because of my deck.
Because of your deck.
And one specific card that I play pretty early on in the game. Yeah.
But what you will get to experience is nonstop delight.
Yeah. I can second that. For my money, it is nonstop delight.
Yeah. So please go check out and subscribe. Ring the bell, hype, all the rest of it over at youtube.com/@GLHF Commander. That episode is dropping Friday. And I just got to tell you, you do not want to miss it. It is so good. I was laughing start to finish editing this with Tyler. And it's so great. Yeah. We also got to say thank you to Lodestone Coffee and Games. They're our local game store over in Minnetonka, Minnesota. It's just an all-around delightful game store. It has everything you might want, including coffee, snacks, themed coffee and snacks.
Yep, themed, in like really creative ways, I will say. They do I think they test them too, you know, like I think they like test them amongst the, you know, employees. And like, it's really, you gotta. I suppose it's a good idea to test your creations before you release them into the public.
Otherwise, you're gonna be like Maria when she's 5 years old, mixing salt in a glass of warm milk with like some dirt, and I'm like, I've made the best creation, Mom. Do you want to drink it?
Yeah, I see. But I guess you did test it on your mom before you tried to sell it to the public, so you were still testing.
I did have a lemonade stand. The government shut that down real quick. That was not up to code. Sorry if you brought some of Maria's lemonade back in the day. I don't know what was in it.
Food creations and beverage creations aside, they're also just really lovely people, and I always feel like the atmosphere in there is very welcoming, which you don't always see in every game store you go into, but I've always felt like, I go in there, feels like a good vibe, feels like people are happy, excited to be there, and feel safe and welcome to be there.
Yes, absolutely. And they raised more than $5,000 for Trans Lifeline at their fundraiser last weekend. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who came out and said hi and played in Judge Rob's Commander Party event.
Judge Rob's creation.
I know, it was great. There were so many cute tokens made. Yeah. I was so proud of our community. And yeah, it was just a wonderful event. So they're an all-around great game store. If you're in the area, check them out. Lodestone Coffee and Games. We love them dearly and are so thankful to have them in our community.
Yes.
All right, friends, it's time to talk about the Avatar pre-release. We attended. We had a great time.
We did.
I've heard what the scuttlebutt about this set so far has been that it's sweet.
Yeah.
Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it may not reach to that like Final Fantasy like all-time heights, you know, but I do feel like the mechanics are nice. The gameplay feels nice. Those 4 mechanics, I just, you know, we mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago, but I just can't get over how well flavor-wise and just how interesting they all are. Like they're so, firebending especially is just really not like anything else that we've really seen, especially from a limited perspective.
It feels like firebending. Yeah, somehow it really does.
Yeah, totally. And there's like, so all of those mechanics feel like they've really a lot of love and thought was put into them, and that comes through in the gameplay. The airbending is, as we now know with all the cards spoiled, the least prevalent of all of the bending mechanics, and I've heard that was somewhat for flavor reasons in the sense that there's just one airbender, so having airbending be kind of willy-nilly throughout the set was like
that's great. I didn't think of that before.
I appreciate, though it's a little bit of a bummer because I do really like that mechanic, so it's not as prevalent in the gameplay, and I would say that was my experience at the pre-release. Like the other, like earthbending especially, I ran into a lot of.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, firebending I ran into, and waterbending I ran into, and airbending happened once or twice, but it didn't feel quite as prevalent, for lack of a better word.
I had a game that was airbending was very prevalent.
Okay, great. Well, yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm probably pretty glad that it's not all over the place.
Yeah, sure, because it felt really powerful.
Because, well, I mean, it makes your games completely different.
Yeah.
You cannot play a game with airbending in it the same way you play any other game of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Because your cards might not be there when you want to block. Just kidding, they're all gone.
Yeah.
You know, or these enter the battlefield triggers, which are so powerful, are going to get triggered so many times.
Yeah.
Etc. So I'm glad that it's not everywhere because it is. It sneaks up on you. Might have been a bit
oppressive if it was.
Yeah, and let me tell you, there were some misplays that might have happened on my side of the table because I'm like, oh yeah, airbending is a thing that exists, and I need to remember that my cards might not be around to block or whatever. And so that's my little PSA warning for everybody out there. Airbending is a mechanic in this set.
All right, that's a good PSA.
That's called Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's in the name. It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
But I agree. It seemed to be extremely flavorful. The cards were fun to play with.
Yep.
It was dynamic gameplay, interesting decisions all around.
Yes, I agree.
Attacking the game on axes that we're not familiar with. You mentioned firebending. I'm talking about airbending. Like these things are not things that I've said about pre-releases, you know, in the past. That there is that much differential in the way that you need to think about and attack the game as previous pre-releases. So that's something certainly to say in its favor.
Yeah. The waterbending I want to highlight specifically because I've appreciated it felt this way playing it even more so than I knew this kind of conceptually, but it is a more defensive mechanic, and I just appreciate that also fits in well with sort of how waterbending is in the show too. Like I just think like even in that way, it is like something that is feels really flavorful because you're tapping creatures, so you often are gonna and it's at instant speed. So there's most situations you're gonna want to be tapping those on your opponent's turn. So there is a way in which like attacking with your creatures is a downside for a waterbending card in a lot of scenarios, and so. Just appreciated that was the case as well.
Tyler, will you walk us through what you built and your experience?
Yeah, I will. So I played a green-blue with a little splash of white deck.
You had the earthbending pack.
I did have the that's good to mention that. Each of these packs. Most people know this probably, but just to say it in case you didn't know, for this pre-release, which they've done in the past, but it's rare. They had each pack had a color associated with it and a specific character. Like white was Aang and green was Toph, and anyway, I won't go through all of them, but there was a color associated with it, and you got in that pre-release pack a seeded pack that had all from that color. So if you got the blue one, you got a pack that had your pre-release rare, which might not be that color, but then every other card in that seeded pack was that color. So it really made the deck, you were very, very likely to play that color, let's say, because, you got
heavily incentivized.
Yep. And it was even possible. I didn't have this experience at the pre-release, but at the early access event on Arena, both you and I played decks that were monocolored in sealed, and I saw a number of people that happened for as well on my opponent's side, and so that seems like a very possible thing to do in the sealed environment in this set, and so that's really cool, especially because there's a payoff for those monocolored strategies in each of the colors, and it was cool to see them kind of lean into that possibility of monocolored decks. I love it in Limited when there's some incentive to be monocolored, and that definitely exists in this set, and that was cool to see that was a possibility.
There's a white card, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I'll put it up on screen when I'm editing this episode, but it gives you 1/1 allies based on your quote unquote, not your devotion, but the number of planes you have in play. Yeah, the number of planes
you have,
I was playing against a Magic Pro Tour player in the early access event, and I was kind of dominating, and I was like, ooh, this is pretty sweet. Like, look at me taking this
really
pro down.
And
then I was like, oh my gosh, they're playing monocolor. What a noob. Like, not even putting the second color in. Of course, how wrong I was, he just like fired off that card like once, twice, 3 times, and like completely overwhelmed me on the board. So there are some pretty powerful payoffs for being monocolor if you can attempt it. And I believe on Arena, you'll be able to play in these pre-release events with the seeded packs.
Or in sealed events. Yeah, that's right. On Arena, when you play sealed, it does ask you to choose a color, and it does give you extra cards from that color.
So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
because it's going to replicate the in-store experience.
Yeah, which is cool. So anyway, I did get the green pack. So I had a base green deck, and then I had blue cards, and I had a 1 white card that I was splashing, which was the Aang Swift Savior, which is a very powerful
my commander for our Commander Arcade episode.
Yep, 1 white and a blue for flash flying. When it enters, you airbend up to 1 other target creature or spell, so you can airbend a spell. And this is one of, I don't know if it's the only card in this set, but it might be that. And if it's
interesting,
if it's not, it's one of the few. So it can play, a little bit of like a counter spell, like at least a, delayed counter spell type of a thing. And then it has Waterbend 8 to transform it. And when you transform it, it turns into Aang Law Ocean's Fury, which is a 5/5 with reach and trample. And it has whenever Aang Law attack, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control. So it puts a +1/+1 counter on itself. And if you've waterbended a bunch of creatures to transform it, those creatures get +1/+1 counters. If you're just attacking with other creatures, they do. So a very powerful card. So I had that as my splash, and then I had a couple nice green rares. The one that I will highlight was Badger Mole Cub, which again saw some play in our Commander Arcade episode from Aaron.
Yes.
A card that, a 2-mana 2/2, you start out and say like, oh, like how bad can this be? It also has when it enters, Earthbend 1, so that's nice. That seems powerful.
Oh, I'm playing that. I already have 3 power and toughness.
Exactly.
For 2 mana.
So that's nice. And on 2 different bodies, which is sometimes really nice. But then it also says whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. So if you have a certain amount of earthbending in your deck, you can really get your hand onto the battlefield very quickly with this card if it comes down early. So that card performed well for me. And I also had a lessons sub theme, which is blue and green's deal in this limited environment. And one card that I'll highlight is Accumulate Wisdom, which is 1 and a blue for an instant lesson. It says, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Put each of these cards in your hand instead if there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard. So if there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard, and this one does not count because this is all happening before it resolves and goes to the graveyard, but if you have 3 additional lessons in your graveyard, you get to just pay 2 mana at instant speed to draw 3 cards. And I did that a couple times, and it was very powerful when that happened. So that's a card that if you can, I had maybe like 8 or 9 lessons, I'd have to like count, but it was something like that. And I would say you want, it's not a bad card anyway. Like, just look at the top 3 and take a card. Like, that's fine. Like, it's not like a bad card. Like, that's a card that exists in limited a lot of the time, and without this upside. But if you have a decent chance to turn it into 2 mana draw 3, it is extremely powerful. And
Tyler, I gotta ask you. Do you know how much your Badgermole Cub is worth?
I think it's worth I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's one of the Chase mythics in the set, but yeah, go ahead and enlighten me.
That's a $40 card right there, my friend.
Hey, so even better. So not only did I like having it in my deck, I just like having it in my possession right now.
The other one I think people were after was Wang Shi Tong.
Yeah. Is that one worth more?
I'm trying to look it up. How do I spell the name of this card?
You did play this card.
I did play this, and it's so good in Commander. Okay, there you are. $42.
Oh, nice.
So about the
similar.
same.
Yeah. It makes sense to me because this is one of those cards. Like, doubling your mana, is something that just is like.
And if you're thinking about it, Standard's totally completely shook up now after the banning of VV. So maybe this is something we're going to see, and people are betting on that.
Possibly true. Yeah, possibly true. Or it might be somehow a Commander card that appeals to someone in some way.
Just good. Period.
Yeah. Let's see. The last card that I will highlight of the ones that I felt like really performed well was Boomy, King of 3 Trials.
Oh.
This is the uncommon Boomy, another great character from the show.
Oh, I love him.
5 and a green for a legendary creature, human noble ally. So it's got three types on it, and ally is definitely a type that you see a lot of. And I think there's at least 1 or 2 cards that care about nobles as well. It's a 4/4. And when it enters, you choose up to X, where X is the number of lesson cards in your graveyard. So it's another lesson payoff. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on Boomy, so it becomes a 7 mana, 6 mana, 7/7. Target player scries 3, and then Earthbend 3. And again, I had multiple times where I was doing all 3 of these when I played it on turn 6 or thereabouts, and that just felt like a card that swung the game in a big way.
Oh yeah.
I think the lesson payoff felt like it was a real thing. If you had enough lessons, and
I would love to draft a lesson deck.
Yeah, and it felt like it came together pretty well. And I went 2-1. I won the first 2 rounds. The second of which was against Judge Rob. So we had a team kill on Commander Arcade. So good luck, high five. And but it was a pleasure to play against Rob. And I will say, he stopped in the middle to answer a judge call because he's always on duty, and I love that about Rob. It's he
answered a judge call from me.
Nice.
In round 1.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. So he always has his ear to the ground of it's just he has judge sense.
If somebody says judge somewhere in the world, Rob can feel it.
Yes. Yeah. He can, and it's all the stronger if it's closer to him.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. Yeah. That feels like a burden, honestly, because I feel like people do say judge a lot. You know what I mean? If you think about every game store in every
part
place
of the world.
Yeah. That's actually. I hope it's not. I hope it's just more like a little tingle.
Him.
Yeah.
We'll ask.
Yeah. We should ask Rob how he's doing with that. So those were cards that I felt like, performed well or maybe even overperformed. A card that I felt like this is in limited amount of play. It's limited. But I've anything I'm saying here has to be taken with a grain of salt because I was 6 games that I played. But the Avatar Destiny, which is 2 green for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard and is an avatar in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, mill cards equal to its power.
Tyler.
Return this card to its owner's hand, and up to 1 creature card milled this way to the battlefield under your control. Did it work well against you?
Yes, in the early access event, somebody played this against me, and I was like, how am I ever supposed to win?
Yeah. It's interesting because I think that makes sense to me because it does have that. It does look like that too. That's how I read it too. I was like, this is just a nightmare to get into combat with because you don't want them to. They get this back and then they get a card back in the graveyard, or there's a decent chance of that happening.
Nasty,
exactly. But I did find that this card was a little bit of a liability at a few times for me, and for Rob was playing it, and it was kind of a liability for him. Like there was this time when I had the 4 and a blue to put target creature or enchantment 2 from the top, and and then create a clue token at instant speed, and it's a lesson. And I was attacking. Rob had this enchantment on one of his creatures. I bounced this enchantment, so he blocked with this creature. I bounced this enchantment. His creature died, and then it was just like it's just a little slow, because if someone can do something to interact with the enchantment, then there's like the 4 mana and do nothing is like a pretty like steep cost for this effect, I think, because you also need to have, I'll say 2 things. I think you need to kind of have a fair amount of dedicated mill. So at least when you're playing this, it's kind of giving your creature a decent amount of stat buff to begin with. Like just playing this of 4 mana, it's on the creature and it doesn't give it any kind of plus. I think it doesn't feel good enough to me. And yeah, there just was there was a way in which like this card, I felt like it was going to be super powerful, but the times I saw it in play on my opponent's side and the times when I played it, it did not feel like it kind of lived up to its billing in my mind. So I just wanted to mention that. But as you said, you had a kind of the opposite experience.
Yeah, and it felt insurmountable when I played against it, but perhaps that was because I just didn't have the tools I needed. Yeah,
but also some cards can, like if a card averages out to like, it will just like win you the game, or like sometimes it doesn't perform all that well. Maybe it's still worth playing, like if there's like that high upside. But
sure.
Just wanted to say that I did see the card play, but I saw the card be put into play and not perform very well a few times in my experience. So.
You mentioned a card here, Tyler, that I want to do a little bet with you on.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah.
So we'll see who wins this at the. We'll pick a date.
Okay, great.
So the card,
yeah.
I'm like sure I already know Tyler's going to win, but I want to try and go for it.
Yeah, okay. I like
the card is Fire Navy Trebuchet. Everyone, this is the 04 he mentioned. So when you attack, this is Defender and Reach. So you can't attack with this bad boy unless something weird is going on. You make a 2/1 little ballistic missile rock
that flies.
That attacks the opponent. And you sacrifice it at the end of the next end step. And I love this card. I think it's so cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. And Tyler's like, no, that is trash. Do not put it in your deck. Guess what, everybody? I put it in my deck anyway. Suck it, Tyler. And my prediction, we want to say that this is going to be over 50% game in hand win rate. And you want to say under? How do you want to set the line here?
Well, that's a great question. I think over 50% from 17 lands is not a high bar to cross, because like essentially anything under 55 is pretty bad in my personal opinion, because 55 is like, roughly speaking, depending on the set, about what the average 17 lands player gets. So I would want to say like, let's set the over under at 54. Like I think if this is over 54, you win. If it's 54, and let's see, do you want to have who gets the 54? Like if it's exactly 54, I'll give you the 50.
That'll be a tie.
Okay, it'll be a tie. Great. Yeah. Okay, if it's over 54, you win. If it's under 54, I win. If it's exactly 54, we
both win.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like this.
Okay, so we're going to check in on this card in a few weeks' time and find out how it's doing.
Great.
Now, of course, this depends on how much you want to be attacking if you're playing black. I've made my bet,
yes,
I shall lie in it. And we'll see who comes out on top in a few weeks. So
I like this.
Put a pin in this, everybody. Fire Navy Trebuchet. Watch this space. So my Prerelease was a slightly different experience than Tyler's in that I did a lot of losing. My pool just didn't seem to have the power that it needed. I opened blue, so I played blue waterbending, and it just didn't seem to have the power at blue. Boo. That's what I say to this deck.
Yeah. There was a lot of boo. There actually was a lot of boo power. Like that actually was.
I was scared of my deck because it was bad.
Oh no.
I played blue black because I was trying to do the draw 2 matters thing, which I had a couple of uncommons which pushed me in that direction. One being Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper, great card name, which gives you a spirit when you draw your second card each turn. It's a 2/4 with life,
which is a good card. And is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that spirit is like can't block anything but spirits and can't be blocked by anything but spirits. Yep. So it's most of the time going to be an unblockable creature, or a lot of the time anyway.
Yeah. So if you do that once a turn, then you're making a spirit, which is pretty great value.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. That's
and Messenger Hawk, which is 2 in hybrid blue black mana for a 1/2 bird scout flyer, and when it enters, you make a clue token, and then whenever whenever you draw your second card, or as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, it gets +2/+0.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like, oh, let's try this out. You know, I have cards that make clues, including the new Thraben Inspector.
Yeah,
y'all.
Yes.
Forecasting Fortune Teller. 1 and a blue for a 1/3. When this creature enters, create a clue token.
Hey.
There she is. She's beautiful.
It is. And that is, legit. It probably is the best common. It's certainly up there.
Yeah. It was great all around. It does everything you want a 2-drop to do in blue, certainly.
Yeah. Good for water bending. Good for on the defense.
Absolutely.
Good for this draw too. Yeah, just kind of like glues it all together. Like,
so I was like trying to say, let's try and do that thing. I even went so far as to play cards. The cutest card in the set, the Outer Penguin, which I feel like you really need to be all in on making sure draw 2 happens, and you have to be aggressive as well.
Yeah, it's a fairly aggressive deck.
This is the 2/1, and when you draw your second card, each turn it gets +1/+2 and can't be blocked.
Yeah.
Now, if this got a counter, I might be a little bit more interested.
Yes, or if it just could block a little bit better by itself. The 2/1 is just such a. It's so rare for the 2-mana 2/1s to be good. Like, just in general, of course, there are some that are. Like, if it has like a great ETB or like has a great ability of some kind. But yeah, when you just see like 2-mana 2/1 and it's doing something kind of.
There is a card in blue that does give a counter when you've drawn your second card each turn.
And I think that
one is good.
That one makes a clue when it dies too. Oof. Yeah, that one's busted. Yeah, that's a great example of one that's like very good. Yeah, so it's a great example. That card. World's different than the penguin.
Than the penguin. Unfortunately, the penguin might not be playable.
Yeah.
But I was going to try and do it. I had Katara Bending Prodigy. Mm-hmm. She came to me in this deck. She's 2 and a blue for a 2/3.
She came to you? I like that.
She came to me. At the beginning of your end step, if she's tapped, you get to put a counter on her, and then you can water bend 6 to draw a card.
Yeah.
So she's a great rate for a 3-drop. And I will say, if you're on the play and you play her and you attack, well, she gets turned into a 3/4.
Yeah, if you can turn it into a 3/4, if you have, or if you have another water bending card that can tap her to pay for the water bending. Yeah. If you have especially if you have a way, like the vehicles work for that too. There's not a few vehicles in the set. If you have something like that, that card gets way better for sure.
Yeah. She was great. She was one of the best cards in my deck for sure. In my bad deck. I went 0-3, everybody. That's the truth of the matter here. The best card in my deck was the Legend of Kuruk. I don't know how really to say this name.
I don't either.
It's the saga that's 2 blue. Chapters 1 and 2 are scry tooth and draw card, which truthfully felt wild.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds, honestly, even just reading it.
I know. I was like, wait, I also get to draw?
Yeah. Twice.
Messed up.
Yeah.
And once it transforms on chapter 3, it turns into a 4/3 with a busted ability. Whenever you cast a spell, you make one of those spirit creature tokens. Mm-hmm. Not just once a turn or whatever.
Just many spells as you cast.
Whenever you cast a spell, you get one. And it has the messed up Waterbend 20, take an extra turn after this one.
Which is really fun.
I got up to like 15, I think, once. But I didn't get to do it.
Yeah.
Well, but that was the dream.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We didn't achieve.
The funny thing about that ability, like at least in limited, is that you're usually if you have 20 permanents that can tap for this thing, you probably won the game already, like regardless how many turns you're taking. But I'm sure there's some corner cases where, I mean, it's a nice bonus on top of a card that's already insane without that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was killed on sight when it flipped. On sight.
Yeah.
I played black because I had good removal in the form of Heartless Act, which, poor Appa be tied down in this. I don't want to see that scene.
I know. Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet, but I'm not looking forward to it.
And Sold Out, which is a 4-mana exile target creature. If it was dealt damage this turn, create a clue token at instant, which is a good removal spell. Heartless Act, I will say, you got to be a little bit careful with this because there are a lot of counters running around, especially on those earthbent lands.
Yeah.
And for instance, this came up for me, those Avatar Enthusiasts, which grow when you play allies. There are 77 allies in this set, y'all.
Yeah, it is very easy to get a heavily ally. You don't really have to try that hard, especially the green and white is the ally, the ally themed. And I think if you're in green and white, it's similar to blue and black in Spider-Man / Through the Omen Paths. The set of which,
shall not be named.
Shall not be named. Yep. That in that set, if you were blue and black, you just kind of got the villains. It wasn't like something you had to be like, oh, I got to look out for these villains. It's like,
they were just
all the
there.
cards are just
every
villains.
card is a
and
villain.
It's similar to that with ally here. Like there's just
everything
a lot
is an
of
ally.
allies, especially in green and white.
I think these Avatar Enthusiasts are going to be a thing. I really do.
Yeah.
It's like when I was playing in the early access event, they would quite frequently be 7/7s, 8/8s without hardly lifting a finger.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those cards that I do think it looks like a lot of cards that have been bad. And I'm not saying I don't think it's like, oh, this is like, this is a reason to be in that deck or something. But I do think if you're in that deck, I think there's a decent chance, we'll see, but I think there's a decent chance you'll want one or two of those. And it'll also be interesting to see if that deck, I think there's, again, the early rumblings is that green and white is like one of the places that's probably a good spot to be in this set. And if that's the case, I wonder if it'll get more contested, and then maybe that card will not be quite as good, because right now it's like if you can get like literally all the good allies, then yeah, it's like 100%. Like that's a card that's going to be great. If it's a little more contested, it might be more of a corner case kind of a thing. But yeah, I agree with you that like it looks like one of those cards that's 3 mana 2/2 grows, which usually just aren't good. But if you have every card that you're playing is just giving it +1/+1, that's
could be a thing.
That's definitely could be a thing.
Could be a thing.
Yeah.
So our pre-release was sold out, as was the one the night before.
Yeah, very cool.
Very different story than that of Spider-Man.
Yeah, night and day, one might say. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure Lodestone said that Spider-Man was the worst performing thing since the store opened. So that's wild. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I've seen people posting pictures of like Amazon, like putting it on clearance and whatever.
And just like stock in certain stores of like just Spider-Man boxes where it's just like they have
cobwebs.
Yeah, way too much. Yeah, I mean, thematic, I guess. But
yeah. So, I mean, maybe Avatar will be the anti-Spider-Man here.
I mean, it's at least, I think it feels way more Final Fantasy than Spider-Man. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It felt like a Magic set. It didn't feel like a Universes Beyond set. I think I said that on the show last week or something. But yeah, it truly just felt like we were going to a new plane, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, agreed.
So everyone, if you have some great stuff and stories you want to talk about for your pre-release, please let us know in the comments below the video, or you can pop into our Discord if you're a patron and let us know what you pulled and your thoughts about the pre-release in general, because, we're all just kind of information sourcing here together in the early days of this.
It's always true, which is the great part about it. It's one of the truly magical parts about Magic is that you always get to go into a set, and you see it all the time where even the people, even like the greatest, speaking to limited, like some of the greatest limited players of all time are often wrong before this. Absolutely. They play with the cards about what's good and what's bad. And not that they'll be like complete, rarely like way, way wrong, but like, there's just lots of situations where like it's impossible to call what the best things to be doing is before you sit down and play with the cards. And just really speaks to the depth and the beauty of the game, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Well said, Tyler. It's time to thank the sponsors of Good Luck High Fives, kicking things off with Card Kingdom. You should check them out when you buy your singles over at cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Get yourself one of them Badger Mole Cubs, son.
Do it, preferably just open one up randomly in a pack like I did. Yeah. But if you
gotta buy a single, you gotta buy a single.
You gotta buy a single.
Might as well do it from Card Kingdom.
And you might as well get a cute card like a Badger Mole Cub.
It's so cute.
That little guy.
Wan Chi Tong, also available on cardkingdom.com/GLHF. We talked about the Walls of Ba Sing Se last week that I'm interested in personally because I'm a filthy weirdo and I want to make walls work.
I think I got that card too. I thought if you really want it, I haven't got it.
I do. Thank you. Yes. No wow, trades happening live here on Good Luck High Five this week. Cardkingdom.com/GLHF, the best place to go to get anything for your magical life. They ship orders quickly. Everything will come to your doorstep in one package, so you don't have to wait around getting things lost in the mail from multiple different sources. It's very convenient and really great customer service.
Yes.
All around a great place to buy from. cardkingdom.com/GLHF. We also got to say thank you to Dragon Shield. You can check them out based on the link underneath this video or in the show notes. And they've got tons of cool new sleeves available on their website right now.
Yeah.
They have there's new Christmas sleeves. If you're looking for some stocking stuffers, this one, Santa is getting punched by a snowman. Wait, a dragon is bursting out of a snowman.
That's right. Yeah. I like that.
Grandma had to pull up her glasses.
Yeah, I liked that Grandma had to pull up her glasses to see what exactly was happening on this card. It actually is like really, it's like it's well drawn / painted, and it also has just like a really fun vibe to it. Like, cause Santa was just, just jollying along, and then all of a sudden a snowman turned into a dragon.
Dragon comes out of the snowman, gives you a bit of what for, Santa. Didn't appreciate the coal you brought me last year.
I suppose coal would be an interesting gift for a dragon, just because a dragon kind of makes their own coal quite a bit of the time. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
Well, just like with their fire breath, like
they make their own heat.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're also making things into coal quite a bit of the time.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Because like they're burning it.
How do you make coal?
That's a great question. I think it involves something burning. No, it doesn't.
This is not a mining podcast.
No. Making coal involves tremendous pressure and
that's what
fossilized
I
remains.
thought it was time. And
so I was being a little facetious.
I see what you mean, though.
But I'm saying they do make things into like charcoal, charred.
They do char things.
All right. It didn't all quite hold together, but that was, 'tis the season.
To pick apart Tyler's statements on this show.
I feel like
it's
you're
a
trying
taste of your own medicine.
I feel like
there.
that's true. Well, I feel like you're trying to weaken me a little bit, just in anticipation of this bet that we have now. I think now that it's become competitive, I think you're trying to just trying to knock me down a peg or two.
Yeah. You, if anyone deserves to be taken down a peg, it's certainly you, Tyler.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. In some ways, I think that's definitely true.
The opposite is what's really true here.
That's kind of you to say.
But yeah, you can get these sleeves, but you can also get your friends' sleeves with custom artwork on them, which is a very cool thing about Dragon Shield. You can print them with whatever you want, picture of you and your friends, some kind of inside joke, a meme, whatever, you can put it on the sleeves.
Yeah, Eric, Judge Eric, actually got some custom sleeves of the Commander Arcade logo. That was his own version. We have those Commander Arcade logos
you can buy
sleeves
those
available
there,
that are already pre-made for you, but he made one with like a blue background that was kind of more to his taste,
pretty.
and it was pretty. Yeah, it was cool.
So you'll see that on an episode of Commander Arcade coming up here pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, you can make sleeves in their sleeve crafter tools. So check it out. It's like $25. I think it's one of the best present ideas out there.
It can be thought. It's like simple but also thoughtful, and I think that's isn't that what we're all looking for in a gift?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone, thanks to the sponsors on Good Luck High Five.
Yeah.
Well, friends, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thank you for joining us for another delightful week. Tyler, thanks for joining me as my co-host this week.
Yeah, of course, you got to sit in the daddy chair. We didn't really get into that, but I think, how do you want to give a little feedback on what that's like?
I'm in the daddy chair, and it's a lot of responsibility.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There is that is the thing about...
That's what I'm feeling.
The thing about holding on to that daddy energy, like there really is. Yeah. You gotta command it. So yeah,
I gotta tell you, I miss that couch. That's the truth.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and props to Megan for harnessing
shouldering that daddy vibe over here.
Yeah, and pretty effortlessly, because like she said early on in this, she doesn't even really feel any different in the daddy chair.
It's just normal for her.
It actually doesn't feel like responsibility at all. So kudos to her for that.
Oh my gosh. Thank you to our sponsors, Dragon Shield and Card Kingdom. Thank you to our patrons who support us on patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Remember, the first 10 people to subscribe at a year get sent a pre-release kit of Avatar The Last Airbender. So I'm hoping to read out 10 new names on our podcast next week. So hurry up and get on over there and join for your chance at a pre-release box. Check out our new episode of Commander Arcade dropping this Friday, my personal favorite episode of all time. Yeah. So I just want to put that out. No big deal. And just, come on over to our Discord if you're a patron and say hi. Let us know how your pre-release went.
And if you listen to that Mazes and Monsters track, please let us know what you liked or didn't like about it. It's something we had a lot of fun doing, and if people are interested in it, it's definitely something we would do again because we enjoyed doing it. We figured out a kind of fun way to set it up so that we could record. We were all wearing headphones and had our mics on so that we could listen to the movie and not have it be, the track be muddied up by the movie audio as well, because if you want to watch it along with it, if you know anything about audio, there's no way you're going to get it synced up exactly, and it would just be a nightmare to try to listen to. So we figured it out and we had fun doing it. So if you enjoyed that, please let us know. It's our version of
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
We are Minnesotans, and so that's part of our DNA here.
It is part of our DNA, yeah.
And we're in our part of our proud Minnesotan legacy, I would say. So we would love it if you all liked it and want us to do it again. So please go check it out. Yeah. Patrons, it's available right now for you at patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We will see you next week.
Yeah.